Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about that 8255 IO mode of operation. What is 8255? 8255 and IC 8255. So we are going to see today about the 8255. The 8255 is programmable peripheral interface. It's a programmable peripheral interface. Programmable peripheral interface. So simply we can call it as PPI. So this is PPI IC. This IC is available in the 8255 kit. We are having two ICs are there. So we can connect with that external port by two out ports there. Here we can have either port A B. So we are having two provisions are there, but in our lab we are using any one of the provisions, right? Now here we are having a single IC is there in our lab. So 8255 is a programmable peripheral interface. So what do you mean by programmable? Means then we can configure that 8255 according to our requirement, right? Now here in that 8255 we are having three ports. Port means this is port we can connect the external devices, right? So here we are having port A, port B, port C. Like we are having three port. Each port is 8 bit. As like that 8-bit data, we are having that 8 pins. This is 8 pin. Then this also we are having now 8 pins. So the 24 pins are there. Then through the pin we can connect 24 devices, 24 devices, and also we are having now one 5 voltage power supply and a ground. So total 26 pin. So that IC is 26 pin IC, right? Now here we want to configure that 8255. So for that we are having one registers are there in 8255. The register is, we call it as control word registers, CW, right? So here we have to set the control word. The control word is going to configure our 8255, right? Now the control. So here we are having now in that IC we are having the port numbers. This one is 40, this one is 41, this one is 42, and this control word is 43 port number, right? So you can use that one. If you want to send the data or receive the data, we can use the instruction called in and out. We already know that one, in and out. In is we are getting the data from external value to processor, right? Out is we have to send out the data from processor to external valve. So out and in, these two instructions are used for the connect sending the data and receiving data from external devices, right? Now how we can configure it, we'll see that, right? Now you see this diagram. Here we are having a control word bits, right? So control word is, you are having this also 8-bit data, 8-bit. So control word is T7 to T0 or T0 to T7 is that, right? Now here what actually we are having now, that port C is divided into two parts, the upper and lower. So port A and port C upper is grouped together as one group. So first group like port C, right? Port C upper. So port C upper part. Upper part means that upper nipple is going to use by here. Right? Next one port A B combined together as port C lower. Port C lower. So that is here we have the lower nipple, this upper nipple. Okay. So here we are having now, this is you consider as this is part, right? So that one, this port, then this is one group, this is another group, right? So here we consider as group B. Group B is this one. So the group B is this one and group A is that one. right? Now here we are having now in the group B is we can have now any one of that mode 0 and mode 1. So here we are having either mode 0 or mode 1. So the mode is selected by the T2 bit. So in the T2 bit, what we are giving now, according to that one, the mode of operation of the group B is decided. Right. Now here, if you are having that T2 bit is 0, it is operate on mode 0. Then group T2 is mode 1, then it is operate on mode. So this is controlled by control group A, right? Now in that group A, we want to send the data and receive the data, right? So here, if you are having now that input, you have to give 1, output is we have to give 0, right? Now here we are having now this the total we are having the lower nipple, we can use either input or output, right? So if it is input, then you have to give value 1. If it is output, we have to give the value 0. Similarly, the port B is decided by D1. So if you are setting T1 as 1, then port B is used for input, right? If you are setting this one as value 0, then here this port 1 is act as output, so we can send the data, right? Next one, here will consider, so that these two group A is controlled by T2. So T2 is either mode 0 or mode 1, right? Then mode 0 is actually normal IO mode. Then mode 1 is actually, we can call it as handshake or strobe mode, right? Handshake or strobe mode. Handshake or strobe mode means if you are having unsynchronized device connected, then it will give the feedback signal also. Here the IO mode, it is sending the data or receiving the data without any acknowledgement. Here we are having with acknowledgement if you are sending something. So that is called actually handshake mode or strobe mode. Strobe mode means here we will check whether the device is ready, then it will send the data. Then after receiving the data, it will send an acknowledgement to the device. So if you are having unsynchronized device is connected, then we need to have the strobe mode or handshake mode, right? So strobe mode or handshake mode is this one, right? Here we are having an ordinary IO mode on a simple IO mode, right? So no need to have that any control. So it is having the data, it will send the data. If you want to receive the data, then it will receive the data without any control. Control means there is no acknowledgement, there is no reply, or whether the device is ready, that signal is not there, right? So for example, we are connecting with the printer. So if you are switch on the printer, then it will give the give response to the particular printer, and then we can send the data. So we are sending one page printout, then after printing one page, then it will return back to reply, then only it will send another page, like it is going on as like a handshake mode, or you call it as strobe mode, right? Next we are having now that A. Group A is, I already told you that one, port A and port C upper combined together as group A, right? So that one as here port C upper, either port C upper is a input port or output, right? So that is 0 1, right? Here we are having, similarly here we are having three modes are there, right? So here we are having two modes, only two modes are there, right? In that group A, we can have now one more mode, that is we call it as, here we are having now, this is we are having bidirectional mode. This is simple IO, 0 is simple IO, then this is actually handshake or strobe mode, then here we call it as bidirectional. So we can at a time we can send either both direction, bidirectional, right? If you are setting this this 1x means we can have 1 0 or 1 1. X is here don't care, 1 0 or 1 1. This is for bidirectional mode, that is this 1x, right? So 0 0 is simple IO, then 0 1 is we are having now handshake or strobe mode, then 1x is bidirectional mode, right? Next, the last bit is used for the overall device. We can work it out as some IO mode or PSR mode. Almost we are using IO mode, right? The PSR mode means pit set and reset mode. A single pit can be set and reset. So we can have now the LED glow, like we can have now a single pit we can have now. So that is PSR mode, right? Now we are going to use IO mode. So you don't worry about that one. So IO mode is we are sending the data and receiving the data. So here I told you that one. Here we are having now, this is port A, port B, port C, right? So here we are considering as port A, port B and port C is there, right? Then we are having power supply and then ground, right? Power supply and ground. So this is 8 bit. This is 8 bit. Suppose you consider as port A, this is port B, this is port C, right? Now we have that one. Here we, within that IC we are having that one control word register, right? The control word register we are initialize that one with that one. Here you suppose I am going to use that one as here IO mode, right? So here we are having IO mode. First overall device is IO mode 1, right? Then I am going to use that mode 0, the simple IO only we are going to use mode 0, and then I am going to use this one as out, the port A is output mode, then I can set it 0. Port A is output mode, right? Then we are having this mode 0, right? Then here we are having now this mode 0, and then here we are going to have that one. So 100, then we are having this 2 are this 2 are symbol IO, right? Then here we are having now this is mode 0, and then I am using the port B as input mode, then port C lower is output mode. So that our control word is 8. This is here, right? Control word is 8 and this is 2. So 82 we have to send the output port 43. So what we have to do is move immediate A 82 and then you send that out to 43. So this is the configurations. So if you are writing this in two instruction, now we are configuring that 8255 so as to make that port A, here we are having port A in the IO mode and A is output and C upper is output, right? Then we are having now in the port A, port C upper as output, right? Then we are having now this port B as input, port P as input, then port C lower as output. So this is in IO mode. Actually, that's all in the 8255, right? So we'll see that no elevator control as a next lecture. If you know well about that 8255, we can easily write a program in elevator control. So we can stop here. We'll continue in another lecture for elevator control.